What's up, everybody? Circus here, coming at you with this week's Power Rankings video. And I'm excited. You know why I'm excited, Camille? Because we have a new winner this week.
What? No way.
It's
New winner
true.
already?
Yep, can you believe it? So let's get right into it. If you don't know what we're doing here, each week we track decks as they're played in tournaments around the community. And then we give them points based on how they finish, and then we rank them. So if a deck gets a first place finish, it's going to get 6 points. A second place finish is 4 points. A top 4 is 2 points. And a top 8 is a single point. Kamel.
That is right, Circus. And to keep the power rankings consistent, all of the tournaments have to have the same format, and that format being rounds of Swiss into a top cut. The deck format being one deck with a 7-card side where you can side in skills. And the tournaments that met that criteria this week were the Battle Phase series. We had a GG Tour tournament as well, the Meta series, the Mimicker Cup, and the Ruby League.
So not as many as last week, but still quite a few tournaments to
Still very nice,
get a lot of
yes.
data from. So we have a top 4 this week. So let's get right into it and see which one is number 4.
All right.
Oh my goodness. And that's it. GG's.
All right, number 4 this week is Blue Eyes, and honestly, we probably could have skipped this one this week because it only got 12 points, which isn't a lot compared to the other decks that's on the list. But I guess we kind of want to talk about what's happening to Blue Eyes, Kamel. What's happening?
Blue Eyes is losing all of its good matchups, and now the nerf that people complained about not really being enough is finally like bearing its fangs.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Eyes is no longer able to quickly establish a lead in the duel, like getting your alternative White Dragon and Blue Eyes to hand so you can activate Ultimate Dragons. That's no longer immediately available to you with Melody of Awakening Dragon,
Mm-hmm.
and that is actually hurting them a lot, so much that Blue Eyes is actually reverting back to discard traps because they can no longer depend on Treacherous Trap Hole. They need other ways to get their stones in the grave and get that going faster, because that is going to turn out to be their more reliable way of summoning Blue Eyes monsters. And also, these other decks, Fire Kings, Thunder Dragons, Onomats, they all have pretty good tech cards against Blue Eyes now, and Harpies are just, they were not such a problem for Blue Eyes before, but now that Blue Eyes do not have this way to just summon a full board of monsters against them, they have lost that great matchup as well.
Everybody was, like you said, upset when the nerf came out, but it's like Konami actually did some homework and like figured it out. It's like if we just touch this one card right here, that will be enough.
That's what I was saying, man. The last battles, Konami actually did a good job, and people were pretty upset. But the
including Herf.
The Blue Eyes nerf did its job.
Yep.
The deck is no longer as dominant, of course, on the ladder and such.
It's still crazy. Played, absolutely
but
crazy.
But here, we're actually seeing its weaknesses coming to fruition. So keep in mind, Blue Eyes no longer super consistent. There's a lot of bad matchups. Check out the other decks on the tier list. They have great Blue Eyes matchups.
Well, we take a look at number 3 and see which one that is this week.
Is that Kiteroid in hand? It is not. That is lethal.
Coming in at number 3 this week is the Tier 0 deck that needs to be nerfed. You can't beat this deck. It's so good. Konami effed up putting it into the game. And that is Harpy Ladies.
Yeah, man. I really do not know what to say. Harpies, everyone was playing it. Tier 0 Circus was duped. Everyone was on the Harpies bandwagon.
Yep.
But straight up, Harpies cannot establish their lead into the late game if they lose access to their synchro monster. And there is a, well, I shouldn't say Heraldic Beast, because that's only useful in the mirror match. However, the grind game is becoming a more accessible strategy against a deck like Harpies, and decks like Fire King and Thunder Dragons can make use of them. And in Harpies, where you don't really run so much hard shutdown traps like Canadia, Floodgate, there is only one TTH and a couple Fiendish Chain, and those are not the end for decks like that. They can still play through them. Harpies cannot play through such, removal. One or two traps hitting their synchro and effect monsters is really going to shut them down, and that's being displayed.
I think one of the problems is no one can really agree on which is the best skill because the skills make up for two deficiencies that the deck has. Harpy's Hunting Ground, like this deck has, is good for taking out back row, which they don't natively have in the deck. And the other one is Tie That Binds, which helps them get big enough to get over monsters they normally can't get over, like Blue Eyes. So it's like they need almost two skills to make the deck complete.
Yeah, a lot of the stat lines on these other decks are just larger. Levineer, Thunder Dragon, Duo, Fire Kings, and Blue Eyes, all pretty strong monsters. And Tazabon, more often than not, becomes an option. I was very surprised how big of a deal it is for them to have that card, for that skill.
Yep. And then there is a 30 card version out there right now. There's a lot more spells and traps in it, right? They're running, what is it, the Hysteric Party? Is that what it is? And
Hysteric Party and Hysteric Sign to essentially just add a bunch of Harpy monsters to get you that late game power so that you don't run out of resources.
And then they have a little bit more back row too, right? Like,
they're also playing discard traps to take advantage of discarding Hysteric Sign and stuff like that.
I guess they're trying to make up for the lack of long game this deck doesn't have. Like Harpies are good like beginning to mid game, but then they start to fall off, and that's what the 30 card version is for.
Yeah, that's what that is for. Just so you can actually survive against decks like Fire Kings and Thunder Dragons, and they're not just looping on you endlessly.
We'll have to wait and see which version of the deck plays out long term. Right now, it's this 22 card version, but we'll wait.
Yeah,
and
not
see.
many results. Just a top 8 in the Meta Freakly Wednesday.
Okay, all right. So we'll wait and see.
30 card deck.
Maybe next week it'll be completely different. But for now, we're gonna take a look at number 2.
That's it, man. He dead. Now that's talent.
All right, coming in number 2 this week, and if you look, 23 points, just like Harpies, but this one actually got a tournament win, so to me that makes it slightly better than Harpies. Water Deck. Remember, we thought Water Deck was gone. Remember wasn't it last week? We were like, did they drain the bathtub on the Water Deck or what? Whatever. It's like, who let the water out? What happened?
Water Deck is
it's back, baby.
For what reason? I am not so sure. I want to believe just because in the event that it does go up against a deck like Harpies or Onomats, again, where it is just a really quick game. All three of these are, Water's not really an OTK deck, but it's like a quick deck, a mid-range, I should say.
Right, it wants to control the field and then go for game.
More often than not, it comes down to an event of who has TTH.
Right.
More often, although Dissaro's list does not have TTH, that is more often than not what the case comes down to. The tech cards in Water Deck can make the difference against these decks that, establish 2 boss monsters, and then once they're gone, they're done.
Right.
So, as long as there are decks like that for Water Deck to beat, they will be pretty good. The problem with them was that those decks were not so proven yet. Harpies were not, tier 1 Blue Eyes, and the Star-Lord deck were still reigning. And Water had not really found its place, but being able to run tech cards like Cyclone, Necro Valley, TTH, Fiendish Chain, they are really powerful.
And you're going to see when we get to number 1 here, there was really just one deck this week, then everything else is just a distant second, third, and fourth place. So why don't we get a look at number 1 and you'll see what I mean here.
I'm going to go ahead and say that the Onomat players got this one in the bag.
And like I said, in first place with 50 points, so basically double what Water Deck had, is Onomats. Onomats had 9 top 8 finishes. This had 21.
Dude, Onomats have found a way after getting their scale cut in half. Gaga's sister getting limited to 2, and it's really ingenious, right? You can see it here in Buns' Meta Weekly winning list. He is playing 3 copies of Dododo Draws. So basically, you want to open Dododo Draws so that you still have it in your hand. You use your skill Hachdo Onomato play. you swap for a Dodo monster, and then it lets you use Dodo draw if you don't already have one. So you get that draw too, and then if you happen to have two or another one, you can send it back or get yourself another Dodo monster so you can draw four. So the deck is still making ways to stay consistent as an OTK deck even after the skill nerf. The core gameplay of the deck did not change too much. You can see he's running 3 MST, no more Hatronade from Onomats. But yeah, this is the culmination of the strategy that people were figuring out after they got nerfed, and it is the winner of the power rankings this week.
Yeah, it just destroyed everybody. Just destroyed Harpies all
14%
week. Yeah.
conversion rate. That is nuts, with almost half of the participation of Harpies.
Yeah. Just everybody was wondering, are Onomats coming back? I think a lot of people wrote them off. Just like, oh, they're gone because we didn't see them for a couple of weeks because
they
of the skill.
did get a lot of tools in the time when their skill was nerfed and it was not implemented. Heroic Champion, Excalibur, disgusting OTK card. If your opponent does not have hand traps in place, if you're able to effectively remove their back row, that card is an instant win. More so than any other strategy in the deck if it wasn't already an instant win for them already. So yeah, Automesh just got better tools to do what they were doing, and they are not messing around. Using it to the fullest.
We'll also see if people start really side decking against it this week. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, remember,
they probably weren't as ready for it last week, would be my guess.
Well, remember, Onomats is one of those decks where it is really tough to side against them. It's really easy for them to manipulate parts of their strategy so they don't have to use things so much. If you want to counter Onomats, I'd say Mind Drain, TTH, stuff like that, just hard removal and stuff to stop their monsters from activating or special summoning as well. So stuff like that.
All right, we'll have to see if Onomats reign supreme. Ryan and I were talking about it in another video. This meta is great right now because like every week on the power rankings, we have a new winner basically. I mean, I think Harpies took it back-to-back weeks, but otherwise it's Water Deck, it's Harpies, now it's Onomats, it was Blue Eyes. You know, I mean, I love this. I love that it's a healthy meta right now.
And even though you can still show the next stuff, but the boxes that we've gotten as of late, while they haven't been all amazing and like contributing, bits and pieces of them have been showing up here and there. The MST, the Heroic Champion Excalibur. The cards are slowly making a difference in these decks.
Right,
just the ones tanky as well.
That's what we want, though. That's what we want. Decks to slowly get better over time instead of just stuff coming in and just firebombing the meta like we've had in the past. All right, overall representation this week. Look at Harpies, though. Harpies, we're gonna see this with Harpies just because it's an easy deck to get, right? And it's easy to play. So it's the new Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes was that way like last meta. Now Harpies it's a mini box. It's 3 times through, and you can play in a tournament. So why not?
Yeah, why not pick it up? It was proven very powerful, has a very powerful gameplay loop, and it's something that you can work your way towards as a new player. So I think that is why it is so powerful, so popular at the moment.
Yep, Yusenju's right here. This is pretty high for them at 48, so congratulations for them.
Yusenju's also growing in popularity. They are the new rogue deck.
I love Yusenju's. Always have.
Yusenju's are the hot rogue deck right now.
Yeah. All right.
Stardust Synchron is down there.
Yeah, a lot of people played it. Yeah,
played it this week. Honestly, bro, if you've ever want to see like some hot daily casting, Stardust Synchron makes for it. It's really hot. It's really
isn't in one of their summoning loops or whatever? There's like 3 animations that go off
in their summoning chain. It's crazy.
Oh my god! All right, so top 8 conversion rates this week. Who got it? Oh, Onomats. That's right. Then Water. And then look at Yusenju's.
Tied with the Water deck, yeah. Yusenju's up there as well. There's a pretty good people picking up Yusenju's this week. Shiny Sophion, one of them making it to the top 8 of Battle Phase Rising Sun, I believe. Yeah.
Hang on. I got to give Gian a call real quick. Hey, Gian. You see Thunder Dragons this week?
1%.
Do you want me to tell you what it is? Hello? Hello? Gian? Hello?
We got to check them on the full breakdown because that is something to mention, right? Let's move on to what's next. Do we have full points?
We got top 8 finishes.
Okay, top 8 finishes.
Harpies,
Onomats, of course. Harpies, Water Disease.
Yep.
No surprise.
Okay,
there.
overall scores. Here you go. Nowhere to be
Oh
found.
my gosh, where's Thunder Dragons, bro?
I'm guessing they have like a point. I'm guessing they had like one top 8.
Fire Kings as well, a deck that I expect to do better. However, I do think the deck does perform better in the right hands. After seeing -1 play it in Battle Phase Rising Sun, the deck is super, super toxic with running hand traps. It is so survivable,
Yeah.
just a couple cards, very easily to manipulate your opponent. But I guess more people have to pick it up.
And
I would think we'd be doing better right now.
And on here, as you can see, Harpies and Water did tie statistically, but Water is in second place because it got the tournament win. Is just the spreadsheet likes to put them in alphabetical order when they tie. So I just forgot.
Fire King was our number 3 deck last week. Did not show up this week
Yeah.
at all whatsoever. And Thunder Dragons, their strategy, I don't know. Maybe it going into TTH meta, maybe chain summoning extra deck monsters with no protection is not so great. I don't know. Thunder Dragons also falling off this week completely, not even on the overall standings.
You see Lunalights, they have 7 points. You realize that one of those is a 6-point victory in the I think it was GG Tour, wasn't it? The big tournament?
Yes, they won. Little Lights won that tournament.
I think it was against Onomats too. I think it was against Onomats.
I think that's one of Little Light's best matchups, to be honest.
Well, they don't run a natural non-targeting destruction.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And no one text against them. You know.
Yeah, Saber Dancer is just a game win for Little Lights.
All right, and let's take a look at the tier list. Tier 3, I can make the argument shouldn't even exist. I just put that on there because I guess. I mean, because tier 1, Automats, then Harpies and Water. Tier 3, because of the score disparity, I'm like, well, this down here, you know, Blue Eyes, you send you Cyber Dragon, that could be a tier 3, or it could be a tier 4. Really, when you look at the point difference between Water and Blue Eyes.
Yeah, Water, to be honest, is just making it. It's right. Even its spot in the tier list is not, you know, I mean, concrete.
So tier 3 could really be tier 4. If you ask
tier
me.
3 with a grain of salt. I really think, you know, Yosenju's is fighting to be there. If you have Yosenju's, do not be scared to give it a shot.
Yeah.
It does have a very effective strategy. Just you know, you need to learn how to play differently. Play around your resources and just using it as few cards as possible.
Right. Once you kind of learn the style, then it's like, yeah, this deck's a lot of fun. At least I think so. Anyways, let us know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you guys think of the meta? That's the big thing. A lot of people were complaining about the last one a lot. I think where we are in this one.
New players. What do you think about the meta?
Are
you interested in joining tournaments, man? From someone who's been doing tournaments for a very long time, this is one of the most positive tournament metas in a while, and it is great that this is happening in a time where there's so many new players, there's so many resources available to you. So any deck that we talked about, any deck you saw in the representation, ask about it in the comments. Are you excited about tournaments? Are you excited about getting into the tournament scene? Let us know.
Yep, it's not as scary as you think, and you'll make a lot of good friends along the way. Excuse me, you will. That's how DLE started. Tournaments.
True.
Good stuff. All right. We're going to get out of here, though, but you should get in the Discord because it's free. The tournaments are free, and the new player help is free. So we're going to get out of here. I'm Circus. That's Kamel.
Peace out.
And we'll see you next time.